It is a damn good day to have a damn good day. Cool, we'll get started in 3, 2, 1. We're live. DJ M. Dot is in the building. Mr. Miami, he's in the studio. It's the Damn Good Day show. Welcome, my friend.
What a damn good day to have a damn good day.
Woo!
Man,
you said it. You said it.
I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me,
I mean,
guys.
this show might have been built for your personality.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, that no pressure.
Yeah, we you know, generally speaking, it's the people in this world that bring smiles to people's faces that I can't get enough of. I love hanging out with them, and you're one of those people, and you've been everywhere, so this is great.
I think when you're living your truth, man, and you have a passion for something, and you really enjoy that, there's no reason why you should not be smiling. Like, I wake up every day like happy, you know, and like we were talking, you know, off the air, like, I can't believe people actually pay me to do all the things that I do, you know. So it's like, yeah, man, of course I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna smile every day.
And there's so many cool things in this world to get excited about.
Absolutely.
Right? There's so many different hobbies and things to dive into. I saw this post about a bonsai tree recently. Bonsai trees are dope. Have you ever seen these? You can get so stoked on the hobby of building a bonsai tree. And I've had this dream one day that one day I'm going to create a bonsai tree garden.
Okay.
Right? This is going to be like my 40s, right? I'm like projecting maybe 20 years out. And I'm going to get have you ever seen, like, it's called a finger monkey. They're like literally 2-inch actual like monkeys, right?
Monkeys?
Yeah. And they're very social animals. So I want to get a whole clan of them to swing in their little bonsai tree forest with like a dinner table around it. I posted this on Instagram.
And this is a sober thought.
This is a sober thought. Yeah. You can just do so much things in this world that are so fun.
That's it.
You know what I mean? There's so much hobbies to explore.
Absolutely. There's a ton of things that you can find interest in and put all that positive energy into it and just, you know, wish for the best of the outcome.
And it's so cool when you're speaking on stage and talking to someone and you see that energy come back out, because I mean, one thing that you're just so impressive and amazing at is connecting with people, right? Like, even when you came in here, you're just so, I felt like we've known you for a very long time. You have just that friendly vibe. And you've been like that your whole life? For
the most part, I really have, man. I think it's just it's not something that you can teach for the most part. I think you're kind of born with it. But I genuinely like being around people. I'm fascinated with meeting new people and listening to their story. Yeah. And finding out who they are, you know. So I just have a profound love for people and people with the same kind of energy. You can feel that, you know, because I felt the same way when I walked in, and you're like, and I'm like, I know this guy since high school, you know. So you know, the feeling's mutual. But yeah, it's just. I pride myself on being a pretty cool, laid back, you know, always happy person, man. I see people all the time, and you know, I'm a hugger. Like, hey, what's up? I bring it in tight. I'm just that person.
Yeah, and it shows, and you're able to just work a mic so well, work a DJ booth so well, because you're just being yourself, and you're looking for people to have a good time.
Literally, just being myself, and I go into every show just if I can gain a new fan, just, you know, if I can have you forget about whatever is going on in your life, right? You may have had a terrible day, but if there's some kind of interaction with me and you, well, the objective is for you to have a damn good day, you know? Yeah. So it's on me to do my job and to try to get you to forget about everything else. So whether it's at a game or whether it's on tour or, you know, I'm hosting a club or I'm DJing a club, whatever it is, like I want to make sure you have the best time and you walk away like, you know, like, damn, you know what? That was a pretty cool DJ, man. You know, I don't normally get excited for games, but he had my hands up like I was in church. Hallelujah, you know. Woo, woo. That you know, that's my objective.
I love that when you touched on the people aspect, because I so agree. When you meet someone new, they have an completely different experience on this earth that you have.
Right.
And you're able to just essentially get the summary of what they've gone through. And that's amazing and fascinating, because you can watch all the YouTube videos in the world, but it's way easier if you just know a homie that does it, right. You know?
I think everyone has a story, you know, and I'm as equally intrigued by their story as they are with mine. I'm sick of talking about mine. I
You're
want to
good-
find
yeah.
out what's going on with you. Stuff like
You're
that.
a good listener, though.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I mean, that's key, and that's happened over time. Like when you're genuinely interested in someone, then of course you're gonna open up your ears and really pay attention and focus and hear what that person has to say and take everything into consideration and whatnot. But yeah, man, I've for the most part always been like this. I think the best compliment I've ever gotten within this industry was, I hate to name drop or here 2 minutes into the show, Jamie Foxx's manager, who I tour with.
Yes,
I tour with
drop
Jamie
those
Foxx.
names.
I know.
Drop
Here we go.
those.
2 minutes into the show.
Mr. Fox,
I'm
here
already
we are.
picking up names. Like, did you drop something in that? This guy's already like, did you drop something? Yes. I'll pick it up later. He really broke it down to me and really put things in perspective. He's like, everyone has talent, right? We all have some kind of God-given talent. Now, what separates me from 1,000 other DJs is, he said, you're a good person. You're generally a good person. You walk in here every day with the same energy. Like, it's almost like a childlike energy, because I'm literally happy. Like I mentioned before, like, you guys gonna pay me to do this shit? For real? This is great. So I think that was one of the best compliments I ever got. And I still, I pride myself on that. And I always keep that near and dear to me because I always want to, be known as a good, solid person.
Yeah.
Forget all like the accolades and everything I do. No, man. Like, yeah, that guy was talented, but he's an even better person. Like,
And when you're around good people, it's the best because good people attract good people.
Absolutely.
And that's what it comes down to.
I think we have similar personalities in the sense where, we have that vibe when we met earlier. But
I love what you're doing with like all you're living a lifestyle that I kind of want to live. I want to get into that world and just one day. I mean, I just whenever you're in front of people, right? Like I got started in network marketing when I was younger, and that was my entry. Are you familiar with network marketing? It's basically there's a bunch of these different companies that allow you to. They don't look at your resume or anything. You can become a part of their business.
Okay.
And essentially, you can build a team of distributors, and then if you build the distribution team, you can get paid commissions off of that. But anyone can do it. They don't care if you're from like Yale or jail. Doesn't matter. You can just
Yale
go
or
and
jail.
jail a business, right? And I was involved in this company called Vima, and I was 20 years old at the time. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was stoked on the idea that all of my friends could make money and we could all do it together. And oh my God, it's so fun. And that I was in the right place at the right time with the right people, learned to speak in front of people in backyards, like really like weird places, just speaking and pitching on the fly. But that exposed me to realize that, you can become anyone that you really want to be, and I like the whole, like, be it till you become it, not fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Like I never liked that fake it till you make it thing, because if you don't make it, then what happens,
Right.
So it's like, no, like just be yourself until you actually become who you want to be.
For
and
sure.
And just rock with it like that. Like, I've heard that term so much over the years, like fake it till you make it. And no, man, like, no.
Yeah. Because fakeness is so unattractive.
Yeah.
Like the coolest, like the best attribute is when you meet someone that's just like comfortable in their skin.
So what happens is at some point, you're going to believe your own hype. And again, if you don't make it, then what happens then? So let's say you're trying to fake it till you make it forever and you just don't succeed. But you're ultimately going to feed into that alter ego, like, yeah, I'm that person. No, you're not. You didn't do anything. You didn't make it. So why even do that? Just grind. And eventually you're going to make it. You put the work in.
And if you got your clan of people, like me and Sky talk a lot about the whole idea of like a tribe. I think we as people, we're supposed to be in tribes.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be connected in these communities.
Yeah.
Not living by ourselves, cooking by ourselves, doing everything by ourselves. I mean, that's like taxing on the brain.
Yeah.
Like the longhouse lifestyle, it's everyone's doing a job, right? You have a job, and if you accomplish that job, you come home, you bring food to the fam, everyone's enjoying, everyone's eating.
Right.
I just think that building like those tight friendships is so critical for everyone when they move to a new city, when they get into a new environment. But if you don't put yourself out there and step outside your comfort zone, you'll never meet that circle.
So imagine, would you feel better? And this is just hypothetically speaking. If you made it and your friends were they didn't make it and they were just there, or if all of you built something together and you all made it. I mean, obviously you're gonna feel that's a way better feeling. Like we all started, you know, it's cliche, but we all started from the bottom and we rose together.
A rising tide raises all ships.
As opposed to just like, oh yeah, I made it, and like let me just leave you guys behind. You know, no. So let's build together.
And that's the abundance mentality. That's what it's all about. Like there's so much great things that can happen in this world. And there's so much different career paths. Obviously that bonsai tree thing is super weird. But like there's so many different things to get fired up about.
Absolutely.
Different hobbies and different excitements, different venues. Like if you're not stoked at life, start a side hustle. Start a new thing. Start podcasting. I think podcasting is the biggest life hack on the planet. You know, forces you to meet new people, build a blog, you know, go on Fiverr, find someone that can start building that blog for you. You were mentioning that you don't like doing all the content stuff, but sometimes you got to do the content, you know?
I come from an era where when I started DJing, social media wasn't around, you know, but now it's like, you have to really, again, like I mentioned earlier, like I'm a type of person that if you know, like if you know who I am, great. Like if you know what I do, great. I never felt the need to have to put it in your face. Like, hey, you know, I'm hanging out with this person, or hey, I'm hanging out with this person, or like, let's look at my phone and see how many celebrities numbers I have, you know? But in this industry, because it's so competitive, you kind of have to remind people like, yeah, you know, I kind of do this because ultimately I don't ever want to be that, hey, whatever happened to blank guy? Because you don't see me enough or don't hear about me enough. Yeah. I definitely want to stay relevant. I never want to turn into, hey, Ian, whatever happened to M. Dot? Like, you remember that guy? Guy was so talented, but I don't want to be that person. So I make sure, you know, I try to stay relevant with the content and stuff. Funny story, another, you know, let me pick this name back up. But I remember doing an event with Jamie in Miami, a crypto event with Jamie in Miami in November. And I remember getting like 5 or 6 DMs like, yo, you know Jamie Foxx? Like, that's so crazy. And I'm sitting there thinking like, that's been a 15-year relationship. Like I've been
that's your brother.
Yeah, but because I'm not like this all the time, you wouldn't know. But then it's like I start getting things like that, and I'm like, yeah, well, maybe I need to post a little bit more content, not to flex, but just to stay relevant for the most part. Because again, this industry is so.
Well, you don't need to if people know you're legit. If you're real, you don't need to do it. You know,
yeah, there's no reason to prove, you know, how genuine and solid you are. But I think it's good for the industry because again,
it opens doors.
There's 10,000 DJs
connects
in Miami,
dots.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, and so it definitely connects dots and open doors and stuff like that. But again, most importantly, it's just to stay relevant, man, to make sure that people don't forget. And me personally, that I don't turn into that, hey, whatever happened to guy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're building your legacy. One thing that like always trips me out is when I think about my potential and what I could do and what I could potentially become, and then thinking like, shit, I'm not there yet, because I feel one of the most difficult conversations is going to happen when you're older and you can't do the things you wanted to do, and you have to ask yourself, like, what if I tried to become, you know, a world touring DJ? Like, what if I just gave it a shot and became the Miami Heat, you know, announcer and DJ and all these things? Or what if those what if things really kill us inside? Yeah,
that's why the time is now, man. Just push all the chips in, man, and just be okay with whatever result you have, whatever result comes from that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, at least you can walk away knowing that you really put the work in and you gave it your all. Even if you didn't succeed on the level in which you wanted to, you can still walk away knowing like, you know what, I tried, man. I tried to be this world touring DJ. It just didn't work out in my favor. But you know what? I didn't get that gig, but I ended up getting a tennis gig, DJing for, you know, some tour or whatever it may be, you know? So, I try not to, you know, focus on the what ifs and stuff like that. Like
just taking action.
Yeah, man. I
jumping on it.
But there are but on the, you know, contrary to that, there are some gigs that I didn't get that still haunt me to this day. And that just shows like how competitive I am.
Is that a big driver for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like you feel those burns and they never leave.
Yeah, because ultimately I knew that the talent was there. I knew I was
When did you know?
I just knew. Because they contacted me. But for whatever reason it didn't work out, that's not my concern. But I do think I often think about the gigs that I didn't get.
Well, let's bring it back real quick. I want to know a little bit about the OG early you. Were you always just into music? Like when you're in high school, are you throwing parties or what? How do you differ from back then?
So I've been involved in music since 4th grade, I think. So I was a percussionist, played the drums, So the little elementary school band, and went on to middle school, drums. Went on to high school, the same thing in college.
What's your favorite type of drums?
Snare drum. I played marching snare when I went to high school and college. Before that, I was just a drum set and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I've always been around music and sports, which is ironic because look at what I do now. Music and sports. So, but yeah, I've always been around music, man, and little did I know, I had no idea that I was gonna, remain involved in music. Going into college. Side note, I was going into law enforcement, man. I wanted to make an impact with people, and especially in kids. And I was looking more towards, gang unit or something like that in law enforcement. And I ended up being in music and making a similar impact for the most part. But I had no idea I wanted to do this, man. And I was talking to somebody earlier, going back to high school, I was my host for the pep rallies. And then once I left that, I didn't think about picking up a microphone until
You're such
later.
a pepper rally host.
Yeah. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And thinking back, looking back in hindsight, I was like, wow, back then I was hosting pep rallies for my high school.
You just volunteered. You're like, I'll do it.
Yeah, and then because I had the cool personality and I was a cool, kid and stuff. And I'm like, now I'm, I get paid to speak. So it's, yeah, man. But I've always had music in my blood, man.
Started there. You're just starting doing these speaking gigs. And did you get more gigs as a DJ or as a speaker?
So early on, I started hosting clubs as the MC. Back then, this was, Miami, early 2000s. I had some DJ friends that were really influential, within the community and stuff like that. Not necessarily the community, the nightlife industry in Miami. One of my guys, Mikey Sims, he really took me under his wing. He didn't talk on the microphone. And because I was a pretty good talker, he was like, hey, we should partner up and do something. And lo and behold, man, we got together and I was introduced, as an MC, and that grew. And then, started meeting more people. And then started getting a little bit more advice. I took a little break for college, I need to go.
What school did you go to?
I went to Miami-Dade.
Oh, dope.
But I went to Dade, which is interesting. But University of Miami is a private school. So they don't have enough kids in their band program that come from these out-of-state, places. So if you're enrolled in Miami, any college in Miami, Miami-Dade, FIU, you can go St. Thomas, whatever it is, you can enroll in their marching band. So I did that for 3 years. That's what allowed me to be in University of Miami's marching band because I was enrolled at a different college. And because they're a private school, they needed more kids in the Miami area and kids, well, all the kids abroad, not abroad, but all the kids that are from different states. They're obviously coming to University of Miami for a reason. But the Miami kids who grew up in these different bands in high school, they wanted to keep those kids even though they couldn't afford to go to University of Miami. So, but going back to, talking and stuff, hosting, clubs with a friend of mine, going back to school. Then I got an interest in radio, television, broadcasting, communications. And I was like, okay, this might lead into something. Got an internship.
You already had a PhD in that before you took the class.
For real, right? Yeah, I was.
What did they even teach you in it?
Literally, I learned a lot, man. And it was crazy because this is a AM station at Miami-Dade. It was, I never forget, it was 1600 AM. No one listened. Okay. But what it gained for me was I was allowed to.
You had a platform.
I had a platform and I was allowed to literally practice every day. So I would format my show and record it and listen to it. and to see how I can get better and better and better and better. That ultimately led me to an internship at the Heritage Station here in Miami's 99 Jams, which I end up, because I can work the board and stuff, because again, I was on college radio, so I was familiar with the boards and the knobs and all that stuff. I ended up working the board for, one of the biggest DJs in the world, DJ Khaled. So when you see pictures of me and Khaled on social media, people don't know that relationship stems from 20 years, because I was his intern for a year and a half.
That's amazing. He built that trust. And that's awesome.
And then, they see me at the games, at the Heat games and stuff, and he's with me. I was like, yeah, that's my guy.
When you look at those boards, I mean, they get crazy.
Yeah,
how much of it is fluff and how much of it is just pure genius?
There are very few things that the mic switch, on and off, know how to pot it up, pot it off. There might be an instant replay machine, which you can record something in. That's what they call the Vox Pros, where you record the calls and stuff like that. Just know how to pod that up. It's super simple, but it looks like something that belongs in a spaceship. Yeah, like studios are 100 times worse because there's way too many knobs and buttons and stuff, and I don't even go into that atmosphere. Like that's just way too much stuff. But yeah, just learning stuff like that, and then eventually the demand for hiring a DJ and an MC kind of just stopped because clubs were more focused on budgets, and it was like, okay, well, what do I do now? I'm just about 2 feet into this entertainment industry. The next thing to do was to learn how to DJ. I'm around DJs all the time. I have that music background. I can count 4 bars. I can count 8 bars. I'm on beat. I'm not gonna mess it up. I'll do that all day, right? So just learn the technicalities of DJing, and some friends taught me that. And
is that a big start to it? Just having that beat, is that the foundation of everything?
I think you gotta have rhythm. That's pretty much the most important thing for the most part. And then it's just being around DJs for so long, being in clubs as just the MC. I learned music selection and stuff. Yeah, you feel it, you see it, so it's just learning.
Do you have like a music selection just swimming in your brain at all seconds? Or do you have to prep type things before you do a gig?
It depends on the gig, but I'm a really firm believer in prepping. Preparation is key for me. So let's say I'm flying out of town to do a corporate event. Okay, cool. I want to find out the demographics. What are the ages? Oh, M.Dot, they're 30 to 70. Great.
I got a playlist for that.
And I'm probably preparing it all week. And then I'll get on the plane and I'll tweak it a little bit more. That way, when I go into it, there's no hiccups.
It's just fun.
Yeah. Now, I'll think of a curveball just because I like being creative. I might be playing, so I'm not just going to play, hey, let me play song 1 through 50 in that exact order. No, it takes away the creativity of being an entertainer and a DJ. I don't want to be that. I'm not a robot, okay? Like, I'm still a person, so, I throw some curveballs in there and stuff. But yeah, man, I prep for just about everything. I never like going into a situation blind.
What fascinates me? Those people that they can record instruments and then they loop it and then they record a different instrument and then loop it and they do like 6 to 10 of them and they build it on the set. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, but when they do that, I think before they hit that record button,
they've prepped.
They prep.
Yeah.
They mess around. Okay, this is what I'm gonna work with this on the keys. This is the angle I'm going at. I'm gonna stay with, E flat. That's where I'm starting. I'm gonna go with an E flat or minor, and they just, there's some kind of preparation that goes into that. I think it'd be foolish for anyone to go to not prep going into a gig, blindfolded. Like, no, man, you should prep because these people are paying you a lot of money to have a good time. And you don't want to be stuck like, oh, this is not working. Like, what do I do? No, you should prep. That way you got me for an hour and a half. Cool. I'm about to kill it for an hour and a half. You will not sit down. I hope you take your shoes off, ladies. Your feet are going to hurt.
And it's your reputation. Like, Absolutely. If you screw up once, you could ruin your reputation. Yeah. You want to just keep going, right?
Yeah, you want to. Yeah, so I'm a firm believer in prepping, man. Like,
I agree.
Even,
I just emceed. I'm gonna say MC, but was the host of my friend's wedding on a super yacht, and it was so fun, man. I mean, I had the heebie. You know that feeling you get before you speak. You're just like, you're like, what's gonna happen when I first talking? But it was amazing, man. Just seeing people react and pulling tears out of the people, holding the suspense, letting them know. It was such a powerful moment.
It is,
and it's crazy what connecting and just speaking can do for people. I
tell people all the time, and the power of your voice, man. The power of voice is just so, there are, again, like I mentioned, there are a ton of DJs, and for the most part we all play somewhat the same music, but what will separate me from the next person is I'm going to incorporate my voice as well. So I'm gonna play your favorite songs and we're gonna have a good time. But I'm gonna also check in and engage with you and make it seem, even though I'm talking to an audience, I'm gonna make it seem like I'm specifically talking to you and to you, right? And that's just the power of voice, man.
Well, you got good range. You can come in like real low, like, and then, baby, I'm just talking to you and only you. And then you can just go right into, what's up, y'all?
Yeah,
here
man.
We are. We're here to play.
Yeah, it's that energy.
That's energy. Energy is life, man.
It is, man. But like I was gonna say earlier, like the same way we react to good energy, we kind of feel the bad energy too. So I've been around and people, and
because it can be shady, right? That whole industry
and now I'll be introduced to somebody and I can tell that the energy's off. So I'll be nice. Hey, cool, man. Nice to meet you, man. And I'll duck off in the corner somewhere. I'll go off in the corner just because I feel it's our energies don't match.
Yeah.
Like when we opened the door, we matched. We're talking about San Diego. We're talking about this. We're talking about that.
What's up?
We match. Now, if it was different, it would have been like, cool.
Yeah.
And we've all been in that situation
For
before,
sure.
especially when we're just full of that radiant, like positive energy. Like we can also feel that negative energy as well.
It's like the mosquitoes, right?
Yeah.
You can't hang out with mosquitoes, man.
No,
mosquitoes. They just suck the soul out of you.
Mosquitoes after it rains.
It's the worst. That's the only downside of Florida, in my opinion. It's the only downside.
Yeah.
Everything else is fine. The flooding's fine. It's just the mosquitoes.
Yeah, they're pretty bad, man.
Like I'd be like the most valuable bachelor if good tasting blood was like a criteria. I get destroyed by mosquitoes.
You got that True Blood. You remember that show, True Blood?
I used to love that show.
Yeah, that was a great show, right?
I was into it.
Yeah.
Vampires and werewolves.
Yeah, so was I.
Do you like Underworld?
No, never seen it.
Oh, you never seen that? That's vampires and werewolves. That's
This
dope.
This is like a little bit more mystical, unless it's violent, but I don't know. It's different than Underworld. Underworld's like intense.
Who's the actress that's on Underworld?
I don't remember her
legend.
name.
Yeah, you should definitely check out Underworld. I mean, if you're into that shit, like,
is it better than True Blood? Give it to me. Give it to me straight.
I would.
No chaser.
I'm a big fan of True Blood, so I'm going True Blood.
Okay.
It's just like a little more built out, the storyline,
Okay.
Well, they probably had more like it was a season.
It was seasons.
Yeah.
But it was, there's just like a lot of fun involved in it. They were drinking blood, but it was kind of like a drug, like a psychedelic drug. It was like just really built out and fun.
I need to see it then.
It was great. It was great, man. And I'm not really into all that stuff. And I was like, somebody put me onto it and I started watching. I'm like, wait, this is actually pretty good.
If you actually get into a series, it's so sick.
Yeah, but extremely time consuming.
For sure. Sure.
So I just finished season 4 of Stranger Things, but now they have this.
Is it worth it?
Oh my gosh, everything that it was so worth the wait.
Really?
Yeah, but they stopped on the 7th episode, and then they'll reconvene in like I think next month, I believe it is.
I just watched the Halo. You ever play Halo growing up?
No.
If you're a Halo
My friends
fan,
did.
It's on Paramount Plus. It's freaking epic. They put so much budget into it. It's so well made. The CGI is just insane.
Oh yeah.
I just love great CGI films that are like just looking at how movies have moved.
Yeah, they've evolved, man.
But at the same time, they just don't make movies the same anymore.
No.
We watched Forrest Gump the other day, and we were all in on it. But they just like Gladiator is one of my favorite movies of all time, and Braveheart. They just can't make anything like that anymore.
Yeah, Gladiator was my gosh, what a great movie. What a great
Are you not
Gerald
entertained?
Butler, right?
Yeah. People get you fired up, especially when you're at a club and you're DJing.
Yeah.
You put on, "Oh, you're not entertained." Everyone goes nuts.
I love that quote. Love that quote.
So in terms of when you're going through your life as a DJ and building this up, you ended up landing some like really enormous gigs. You're working with the Miami Heat. How did that come up?
So my mentor, who's DJ Irie, he's the first DJ in sports entertainment. He's really the person that laid the foundation for it. He was with the Heat he's been with the Heat forever. You know, he put me on, I think, so this was the year after they won their first championship. So they won in 06. 06, 07. 06, I was on tour with Jamie Foxx. Come back, and then, you know, he needed to fill in and stuff, and got put on with him. And it's like, wow, this is great because, you know, having my background in music, and I played high school basketball and stuff, and had a little stint.
You just love basketball.
I was going to walk onto a small school, you know, and stuff. But yeah.
So you get to shoot around and everything still?
I mean, not at the arena, but I train 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30. Yeah.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah, I train 2 days a week.
That's LA Fitness?
Yeah, I train 2 days a week.
Those are legendary groups, right? Like the LA Fitness Ballers.
They think they're all making it to the league, and they're all terrible. They're all terrible.
But it sounds like a fun just thing to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's competitive. It's super competitive. But they all think that they're Steph Curry. They all think that they can hit a 30-foot shot, and then
no one's hitting them.
And then when they don't hit them and they miss badly, then they get mad like they're supposed to make these shots. Yeah. And like the fundamentals of basketball they've just gone down, man. People, you know, I don't know. But it's a good workout.
Pickup basketball is one of the most fun things ever.
It is.
Even if you're terrible, it's so fun.
If you're playing with a good crew.
Like if you're playing with me, you'd be like, yo, this shit sucks. But
Ian's got a sick jump shot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's the worst. But that's a good homie right there. You know?
That is.
You need a good guy like that.
You saw how intrigued I was. I was like, wait, really?
Yeah, I saw it.
I was like, man, is there a hoop?
Hey, don't be getting no impressions yet.
I was like, wait, is there a hoop out there? I got my stuff in the car right now.
I mean, I can go rollerblading, but that's about it right now.
True. But so, yeah, man, he put me on, and the last couple of years I've just elevated and kind of went into a more permanent position with it. But this was the same guy that got me into sports entertainment.
So it's working the crowds, it's working the mics, it's getting people going, all those things.
Yeah,
feeling the energy, just delivering.
It's just Miami is we're a fun city, like we were talking off the air, man. So it only makes sense. And what brings us, we have so many different nationalities, and
that's the best thing about it.
Which is great.
So much flavor.
But the cool thing is, and it's the melting pot for so many different, right? The cool thing is, and what brings us all together, in my humble opinion, is music. So like we can all be in the same area, and we can all relate to a song, and just be having a damn good time, jamming to that song. So it made sense for Miami to be the first to have a DJ in sports. That same guy, my mentor, put me on with the baseball team. So I was the first DJ in baseball. It had never been done before. Now you think baseball, boring, take me out to the ball game, right. 7th inning stretch, a lot of popcorn, a lot of peanuts, stuff like that. But in Miami, it works because, again, what brings us all together? Music. So, this guy, I really owe a lot, like the majority of my career, to him for put me in really good positions to win. And then it was just up to me to, make sure I represented him, myself, my family, my friends, and just kept it going, stay even kill.
I mean, I love that. Stay even kill.
Got to, man. There's no reason to be arrogant or cocky or anything, because as soon as, as quick as I've, been able to accomplish a lot of the things I set out, it can be easily removed.
For sure.
I can be replaced. I can make one bad decision.
But that's why you don't get comfortable, right?
No, you can't get comfortable.
Can't get complacent.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's interesting, too, because if you did something really sick a year ago, it's funny how it feels like it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so some of these actors that have done the most amazing things are some of the most depressed people on the planet because they hit this huge high and now all of a sudden they're not doing it anymore. So it's almost like you need to constantly be challenging yourself for your own sanity.
Yeah.
Because you know, like if you've done it, you hit that huge role, you played that crowd, you know that there's more you could do.
Yeah, I feel that way often because, and I say this being as humble as I possibly can, everything I set out to do, I've accomplished. So there's always a what's next. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love all the things that I'm doing now. But I have that hunger and that desire for something else, because I believe in controlled chaos. That's why I wear so many hats: DJ, host, influencer, fitness guy who likes doing this, brand ambassador, MC.
Controlled chaos.
I like having
multiple things going,
wearing so many hats, and I call it controlled chaos because I live off of that. I do. I
create a program and call it Controlled Chaos.
I should, huh?
That's a good name for it. Yeah. You build some sort of, so that could be like the foundation.
Yeah.
You could build like an online course doing that or something.
Yeah.
Like teaching the youth how to become a DJ or like the drop.
Yeah. I like that.
The M. like official drop.
Kind of like that. Oh, now we're thinking.
That's a big smile right there. Look at that.
Man. Like light bulbs have gone off, but yeah, man, I like, so I have that feeling where, I never want to get complacent and comfortable, but I always have that drive and that hunger for something else. So I'm always like, and that's a blessing and a curse, man. It's a blessing because, again, everything I set out to do, I've accomplished. Yeah. And that's that's pretty hard to do. But on the contrary, it's like, yeah, I need something else.
Yeah, because it's like if you look at it the extreme way, you're always unhappy. And if you don't stop and smell the roses and travel and make memories, all of a sudden your life passes before you, and you're kind of like that person that just works every day. But it's not, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I felt like this might get a little deep, but before my daughter came into this world, that's how I was. I just worked, and that was the only thing that made sense to me. So, and it's kind of weird, like the way I explained it, but everything else was kind of like a blur, like in terms of my personal life and dating or whatever it is. But like the only thing that truly made sense to me and made me happy was the controlled chaos, was work. So I can be on the radio for 5 days a week or 3 days a week and go do a Heat game 2 days a week and then go fly somewhere with Jamie and then come back and then go shoot this TV thing or go over here do a club. I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed like being,
everywhere
at every single time. But it got to a point where like I was unhappy because I'm doing all these cool things and you may pat me on the back, but I'm, after the gig is done, I'm in my 2-bedroom apartment, my 2-bedroom condo by myself.
Like crazy high energy to just low.
I'm in my 2-bedroom condo by myself. Now I'm extremely introverted. So I tell people, I'm an introverted extrovert. But then I go back, the next day I'm at my gig and I'm like, I'm back on it. And then after the gig, right back in the condo, so again,
it's almost like you're living in a simulation when you do that. It's like,
yeah, man.
But it's interesting you mentioned your daughter because my dad tells me that before he had kids, life was very different, everything about it. And he said that when he had his boys, me and my brother, it was like everything changed. That day, everything changed for the way better. He said it just was like the best thing that can happen to you. What was that experience like?
It was an out of body experience. So brief background, again, I've been just consumed with work for however long I have, right? And then you find out you're having a child and you still don't know how to react. You're still kind of like, okay, I'm excited, but oh shit, like I'm responsible for a human. I'm literally responsible for this human. So you know, the day my daughter was born, this is how weird but thank goodness her mom is awesome. My daughter was born at 3:43. I was on a flight to the Bahamas by 5:30. 5:45 to go be with Jamie to go do a gig. Came back, had a gig for a college team that I work for, and then came back to the hospital to spend time. Then had a Miami Heat gig on Sunday. So my daughter was born on Friday. Fly out to the Bahamas right after. Fly back.
So you're here for like an hour.
Fly back. I was with her until they were able to take her, and you know all the tests and stuff were done, which was great. Thank goodness she was born on time. Came back, spent some time with her. Had to go to the FIU gig. That's the college that I work for. I have a partnership with them. Came back, spent more time with her, and then had a Heat gig the very next day and stuff. But it was like, and then after that, it was like, okay, well, it was like your priorities shift. After I did that, because
it's not an uncomfortable shift. It's just like a natural.
Yeah, it's natural. It's just a parental shift. I'm sure your dad can relate. It's like I already had these prior engagements, so I could not back out of them. But you know, if it were up, looking back, I probably would have if I had the chance to, you know. But just like that, your priorities shift, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna work smarter, not harder. I don't necessarily need to have the thrill of the control, chaos. I don't have to wear so many hats, but I'm still going to work hard. I can pick and choose certain gigs now because I need to make sure that I'm raising my daughter to be a great human. So, yeah, from that day on, it was like, okay, well, if she's 1, then the work can be 1A or 1A, whatever it is, you know, however you want to use it. But it was like, yeah, man, it was an eye-opening experience because.
Well, that's gotta be crazy because you're clearly like you give a lot of love, right?
Yeah.
You love your friends, like you love your people, like, so you must have so much love for her.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And it's just this way for you to just pour love out, which must feel so good for the soul.
It feels great, but remember, prior to this, I just loved my work. I was in love with that. So, you know, prior to having my daughter, work came first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Like literally, that's just how it was, and because that was the only thing that made me happy. So there could have been some like mental health issues going on back then and stuff because, shit, when you have to drive to do more and you know, I guess not. Yeah. I don't like people saying like be the best, but you just have that ultimate drive to really do more, and you know you can do more, and you want to do more, and even though you're damn near burnt to exhaustion because you're doing so much already, but that just kept me going.
It is such a good feeling when you know you're exhausted, but then you get like in front of it, and it's like you get the energy.
You got the energy.
It's like the David Goggins thing. It's like nah, you can go farther.
It's an on and off switch. Like you know you have a little bit left in the tank because this is ultimately what you love to do, and it's your passion. So you know you're not going to give up on your passion. You know you're going to try to give a little bit extra.
You're the main character of your movie.
Oh yeah, you are. Yeah.
What would your movie be called?
Oh man,
Controlled Chaos.
I like Controlled Chaos, man. I like Controlled Chaos. I do, but I think I work extremely well under those conditions, man. It's not built for everyone.
With all the different places you've been, what have been some of like the biggest highlights you feel of like those oh shit moments that you really like leveled up to a new experience or something you just never even believed was even possible? It's a loaded question. I don't even know how I would answer that.
I've been fortunate to play in front of 2 presidents, which was. Have you ever been around like a political figure or like person in office or
not like a huge senator or anything like that? No.
Let me just tell you, man. Like, and I'm having that law enforcement, having that love for law enforcement. So just imagine like being around a president and Secret Service and shit like that. And that's great, man. So
this is a different energy, different vibe.
It's
when the guy in the back looking like Men in Black.
Yeah,
I
tell you, the vibe's not me being all happy-go-lucky. It's more like I don't even want to look at them. Yeah. I don't want to look at these guys.
What do they know about me?
Yeah.
They know all my texts.
Oh, because when you do events like that, they run an extensive background check, like extensive. So yeah, they want to know. They already know who you are.
That's cool that you wanted to do the law enforcement thing. My dad always tells me this funny story that one time in his life he wanted to be in the CIA.
Okay.
And he made it to like the very last interview, right? There's only like a few people that made it. And he remembered telling me that he was in this room with this girl. They were both waiting to be called in for like what he thought was basically like the acceptance job. And she's just kind of chatting with them, like they're getting friendly. And my dad's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna be CIA. I'm gonna be walking around with a piece. It's gonna be awesome. He's just being fun and goofy. Turns out that she was the last interview. He's like, shit. See, I'm gonna go into advertising.
That's how they get you. Yeah, they want you to be relaxed. Go in there and just act yourself. Act normal.
Get you when you're not
shoot the shit. Yeah, no, it's not.
You're gonna learn today.
Yeah, man. But those CIA and FBI and Secret Service. There's some interesting.
I feel like it would actually not be as glamorous as you'd think because there's so much red tape of things that if you're a huge change maker, I think it would be tough to make change in those scenarios. Maybe because I've watched too many movies. Yeah. I really don't know. Yeah. But, there's a lot of tape that goes on with a lot of those things.
I think, for example, Secret Service, if you're not necessarily on the president's detail, like meaning like you're following him, like you're one of the 20 that ride with him, because they have two different details. You have the one that goes and scouts the perimeter and make sure everything is cool and they like hold it down before, and then you have the ones that travel with him everywhere you go. So I ended up meeting on the second event. So one was with George W. II, and then the other one was with President Obama. So the second event, I ended up meeting a young Secret Service cat, like same age for the most part, and he was the one that was on the scouting.
You're living both of your lives to each other.
Oh yeah. I'm just like, and he was a super cool brother, man, sitting there talking, having the conversation with him, and he was telling me, we get here, just telling me things that how they secure the area, because this event was literally in the backyard of somebody's house in California. Reese Witherspoon was the MC, and she was the neighbor too. So it was one of these big donors, donors and stuff that wanted to have this high, this pricey fundraiser event right before he was to leave office and stuff. And Reese was there, and obviously I went with Jamie and performed and so on and so forth. But just having the conversation with him, I was like, man, this is kind of cool, man. Like
this is crazy.
But then I'm like,
you're like touching.
This guy's like the same age as me, but he's like he's going with the president everywhere and stuff, and
that could have been you. It could have been a different path. Could have been
that's the way. I wouldn't have passed that, man. I would have smiled. I would have smiled too much. They would have been like, "Nah, we gotta kick him out, man. Like this guy's gonna make friends with everybody. Like, no, you want to go meet the president? Cool, come in.
I know a guy.
Yeah. But those are two events. The Grammys, performing, at the Grammys. You literally sing.
So like when working with Jamie, do you integrate your act and like you almost like know each other and can like communicate like mentally at that point because you've worked together so much?
we've done so many events.
Because that is so fascinating. Because out of all the people in the world, I mean, Jamie Foxx is just such a legendary good person. He's so talented. His story's crazy. Like I listened to it on like the Joe Rogan Experience once.
Okay, and Joe is such a phenomenal
was such a good interview. One of the best interviews I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, Jamie's a really good storyteller, a really good person just in general. Jamie, he's a Southern boy. Grew up right outside of Dallas. So went to school in San Diego. Went to college in San Diego. That's for you, Sky. But yeah, man, like having experiences like that, being with a person like that, man, it's like, it's sometimes I pinch myself, like, but the relationship has been we've had this relationship for so long. Like, I can read his mind, he can read my mind. And some of the events that we just do privately, just he and I, going to do some of these corporate events, like it's great.
Someone you can relate to while you're on the road.
Yeah, and it's also, and you know, like the last couple years, I felt, because you know the entire band doesn't go out to some of these corporate events. For the last 7-8 years, it's just been he and I, and maybe 2 background singers, you know, just to rock with us. Some of the events, it's just he and I, and he trusts my opinion. So we have that mutual respect. Like, I know that he's the most talented person in the world, but he also trusts me and my opinion and in the lane that I'm in music. So a lot of the times, you know, we'll be sitting in a room like this, like a green room, and then we'll have no idea what we're gonna do. And he's like, "M-Dot, what are we gonna do?" And I'm like, "We're just gonna figure it out, man." All right, so what do you want to start with? And I'm like, okay, well, let's start with this. You like it? He's like, yeah, man, let's do it, man. Whatever you want.
Just take the lead.
And I'm like, this guy is the epitome of talent. Like, you don't get, we all, like I said earlier.
But
like
you see him from a human perspective.
Yeah, like I see him, like, and I talk to him like I'm talking to you guys. Like, yeah. I don't look at him as this,
right?
You know, but I know that he's this mega star. But man, him having confidence in me and stuff like that is just,
that's special.
It's taking my career.
Clearly, he's got great talent, man. I mean, you're freaking a catch.
Man, the guy, listen. I've learned so much from him. He's one of the biggest, you know, advocates for like wearing many hats. And they say you are who you hang out with, or you're a reflection, you know. So I'm hanging out with a person like that. Yeah, I want to wear 5 or 6 hats, you know. Just if this one doesn't work out, guess what? I still got 4 more things I got, you know, I can do. And if that one doesn't work out, cool. I still got 3 more, because I look at a person like that. You know, I may not be the best in all of the hats that I wear, but you know what? I wear quite a few. And
well, it's diversification too.
Absolutely.
You know? It's like, you got to be prepared. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and ultimately you need to do a lot to expand.
Well, you're one of those
brand.
people that anything you try, like anything you actually put your mind to, you're going to be good at.
I tried golf, and I was terrible.
But for how long?
I need to go back.
Me too, because it's the thing, I'm terrible at it too. Like, I can maybe drive it, but I haven't really tried, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you got to do like 10 lessons, then you can say you really tried.
Yeah.
We should go golfing together, because I want to learn golf.
Let's do it.
I need to, because it's like smoking cigars.
We can practice our drives at Top Golf, though.
Is that the vibe? Is that the spot?
I've
actually never even been to.
It's a vibe, and you can just swing. It's just practicing your drive, man. Yeah. You're not putting or anything like that. It's just you just swing.
Is Miami known for like having lots of golf courses? Because I know they have like the really nice one in South Beach.
It's the weather, yeah. They got golf courses all over. You got Trump, and you got 9,000 other ones. I'm sure. This
is the spot.
The one on the beach. Yeah,
you should be playing golf.
You got good weather, man. So,
you play golf?
As much as you probably have.
Yeah, so
nothing significant.
Yeah. I love mini golf. I get so competitive in mini golf.
Yeah, mini golf is a
like people
cool
like
vibe.
Mini golf is supposed to be like this cute thing. Like, I'm going on a date. Like, no,
you're
gonna put money on it.
Yeah,
we're gonna at least ante up dinner or something.
Yeah, if I'm taking you on a date to mini golf, I am going to destroy you. I'm not trying to like let you win. So you can hold. That's having power over someone. Like, imagine you take your date there and she beats you. Like, that's
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, that's like bragging right. No, forget bragging rights. Like, they have that power over you. Like, hell no. Like, no.
You play ping pong?
I'm okay at it.
Ping pong's the best game to just like do and like actively do while you're just like in the middle of a work day and just like get some ping pong in.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Competition never gets old, because you can always go off like whenever the older you get, maybe your limbs get a little bit more achier and things get tougher, but you can still just compete. And I think that the people that are still competing after, like, because in my opinion, when you're younger, you kind of get forced to play certain sports.
Yeah.
You get forced into like some sort of societal way of looking at things. For example, I played hockey, soccer, lacrosse. But looking back, if I could have known what I know now, I would have played golf, tennis, and volleyball.
Yeah.
Because those are things I can do my whole life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Especially beach volleyball. My gosh.
Those people seem to have the best lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They get to do what they love every day
Right.
at such a low cost.
Yeah.
Such a low cost sport.
And they have like the best tans. Like the best tan lines.
Tan lines?
Yeah.
But they're probably just all like borderline skin cancer at that point.
Well, I mean, because you're out in the sun for
just baking.
just baking.
I'm just saying that because I don't have it. But I'm as white and vanilla as it gets. I can't get tan if I beg someone for it.
I've been tan all my life, brother.
It's such a vibe. Do you like the ocean?
I don't mind, but I like the ocean. This is weird because I don't go to the beach here. But I'll go to the beach when I'm on an island. Yeah. So if I'm in like Bahamas or something, I'm on the beach.
That's good because it's healthy balance.
Yeah, you're not gonna really catch me here. Maybe 1 or 2 times a year. But yeah, if I'm on the island somewhere, and I'll be on the island next month. If I'm on the island somewhere, I'm in the water.
You ever try like free diving?
No.
Like one breath going down.
No.
You ever been excited by it?
I'm fascinated by watching them do it.
You should come with me sometime.
How far down do you dive? Like,
I mean, my best is 66 feet on no breath, and that's like rookie compared to like the people out there, but it's just literally one breath. So I scuba dived since I was 16, just because like I saw Finding Nemo, and I was like, this is the shit. And I started a fish tank cleaning business in high school. And I was just cleaning people's fish tanks in some sketchy scenarios, let me tell you. But I love doing it. Got paid great. But the aquariums and the coral reefs are the most beautiful thing on this planet, man. Yeah. You ever see a fully healthy coral reef? It's like unbelievable, the biodiversity and what's going on down there. It's real life Pokemon. You're sitting there and just something rolls up. It's like, oh, it's a level 32 manta ray. You know, what's good? Ooh. But in spearfishing, you have a giant gun and you can just catch a fish. Yeah. And then you come back like some straight primal, like, honey, I'm home. You know, like you got some hogfish coming in hot, like some mahi if you're lucky. It's just so fun, man. It's such a fun hobby. And if you live in this area, this is the best spot to do it.
I'm sure. Especially the Keys, right? The Keys are
definitely dope. I like going to Pompano, like Lauderdale area. It's fantastic there. The Keys are just so slow. Whenever I go there, it's like I'm stoked for like a day or two, and then I'm like, get me out.
Yeah, it is a slower place, but that's what I like about it.
You do?
Yeah, man. I mean, especially look where we live. It's all fast paced here, man. It's good to kind of just like slow down and breathe and just take it all in.
If you could live in another country, where would you live? Not could, because obviously like fantastic, but if you had to.
My gosh.
I could see myself doing like Bali or something just because that looks crazy, or like Japan. Everyone tells me Japan is so crazy.
I've never been to Japan. I've been to South Korea. And
what was that like?
Super cool. They're so much more advanced than we are.
Really?
Yeah, man. This was a couple years ago. Jamie and I went. And yeah, they're so much more advanced over there. Just technology is on 1,000 over there.
Seriously,
we're so behind.
Like you're just at the bus station and there's things.
Yeah, just all kind of things. Like, and that was my first experience with. And I've
But you probably find yourself in some funny situations.
I've been in quite a few. Like, yeah, I've been in quite a few over the years. You know,
over the years.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. Like, have you ever been to a party where, you know, the hostess greets you at the front door? So, hey, hi, what's your name? Hi, pleasure to meet you. Cell phone, please. Thank you. You can get it back at the end of the day. Like, I've been to several parties like that. Like, that's some shit I can't talk about. But like, you know, I've had some experiences like that. Like, that's been kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. When you lose your phone too, it's like you're truly disconnected in our world. It's like,
who could have you ever really done anything like that? Like, where you could just totally disconnect?
I did this thing called Brick. They like throw these phone-free events. It's called gobrick.com, something like that. And you go in there and you like, it was kind of weird. It was like a sleepover. So it was like 140 people would all go together, and it was like,
it's kind of dope.
Everyone just hung out all day, and then you would like kind of sleep in a giant like auditorium. Everyone just set up shop. It was pretty dope. I wouldn't do it every day, but it was still dope.
Yeah, it's good to disconnect and stuff.
The mountains is the shit. That's the thing that we miss here, right? We just don't have the mountains.
Yeah, man, if we had the mountains. I remember my first experience with mountains, man, like flying out to the West Coast with Jay. This was after my first tour. I toured with Brooke Hogan, Hulk Hogan's daughter.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my first tour. It ended December 13th. I was on the flight the 14th out to LA to rehearse with Jamie. This was way back when, but flying out in the West Coast and seeing the mountains and stuff, I was like, this is insane, because everything we did was on the East Coast. So even on the first tour, we did a little run.
You got to know it really well.
Like 2 months, and it was just the East Coast, up and down the East Coast. Never went to the West Coast. And my first experience out there was like, there's mountains here, and it's kind of like 80s, comfortable during the day, but then it drops.
There's no bugs.
Yeah, no bugs, and like the humidity is like none for the most part. It's like, this is kind of cool, but then you got coyotes and earthquakes.
What's the thing that really screws you up? It's not coyotes. It's what are the super wild cats there?
Mountain lion.
Mountain lions.
Mountain lions, yes.
Imagine that. You come face to face with a mountain lion.
Well, yeah, that's pretty scary.
I heard there's a lot of bears in Florida.
Ton. We got bears, panthers, and gators, and snakes.
That's more scary in my opinion.
Yeah, but they're not like the big grizzlies. They're like the distant cousins. They're like the brown or black.
Like they just want your steak and they're out.
Yeah, those are
they're
smaller.
They're probably like our size. Like they look like us because
Still
they're
not
so
gonna
like
fight it,
malnourished and stuff. They're not like the ones you see on like Nat Geo that are just no. They're like these are like they're on the South Beach diet. The ones we have here, they're literally on the South Beach diet. But you catch them, because I lived over in Southwest Florida, which is Naples, Fort Myers. I lived over there for a while. That's when I was on the radio and stuff. And they have, like, you see bears, people picking them up on their cameras. You see them come up to their houses and stuff like that. And same thing with the panthers, and that's a common thing. And another common, just what you need to learn about Florida, which is interesting. If you ever go to a pool, don't just jump in.
Yeah, you gotta look for gators.
Yeah, man, you gotta be on the gator watch.
And you got the iguanas.
Yeah, the iguanas they're fine.
They're not that cool, but this is a ridiculous iguana story. At that wedding, there was a party at the Fountain Blue, and I was sitting there eating food, just having like a midday snack, feeling great. And there's a group of like 2 guys, 2 girls talking right up like the side of this little awning. And all of a sudden, like, something's like falling on this girl's head, and it's like she's like screams, and she's like, she looks up, and like everyone screams. Bro, this freaking iguana that had to be 5 feet long just took a huge dump on this girl's head.
Oh, man.
I've never seen it before. I had to say, man. I've never seen it. But that is prehistoric.
Yeah.
You have prehistoric animals in Florida. I mean, gators, they survived the big boom.
They sure did.
They got history. And the people that swim with them, that's crazy.
They're still a wild animal.
Right.
Which is, but interesting enough, they're like my favorite animal.
Really?
So yeah, I'm like a gator guy.
Have you been to Shark Alley?
Come on, man. Of course. Heck yeah.
The place is the shit.
Heck yeah.
Sky, you got to go. It's a 15-mile loop. It's the dopest.
Yeah.
I loved whenever people visit.
I rented a bike out there because I don't have my own bike. So I rented the bike. You
did the rent. Yeah.
Yeah, and did the trail.
I rented 4 times. Now I got a bike. But.
Okay. Yeah, I did the trail. And yeah, they're literally right there next to you. The cool thing about gators is that they're, for the most part, like, especially you learn when you're on that Shark Valley, they want nothing to do with us. Literally nothing. So they see us approaching. They haul ass. They're like, no. We're gone. That's the difference between.
Or they just say,
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between gators and crocs. Crocs are
Well, there's apparently only 2 crocs that live in that whole area,
yeah.
and they're so rare.
They're savages. They don't care. Like, you approach them, they're looking for confrontation.
Crocodiles. They can get like 20 feet long or something crazy. I don't know, Sky. Maybe you can fact check that.
Let's fact check it.
We used to swim in these man-made lakes growing up in Miami and stuff. And I was talking to some friends that I've had for plus 20 years, and we're like, we did some dumb shit back then, like swimming in these man-made lakes, and there are gators in these lakes and stuff. I'm like, And none of us like had an experience with the gator, but we got kind of lucky. But those things you do in Florida, man, you see a little rope and you see a lake and you're like, oh, hell, let's go in. And then you all jump in and knowing damn well there's gators in there somewhere. You know, but
So male saltwater crocodiles have been recorded at lengths of 23 feet.
But that's saltwater. So
Saltwater.
that's yeah. They do freshwater.
Yeah, let's see.
Saltwater are like the ones that are out there and like, you know.
What's more scary, a 23-foot gator or like a 60, 70-foot anaconda? They can't get that long.
Freshwater crocodiles, 7.5 to 9.8 feet.
Yeah, they're not that.
Still wouldn't fuck with it.
No. I would think I would go with maybe the croc, man.
I mean, here's I guess the good thing on land
Because they can
croc,
still move. Yeah.
but in the water, the conda probably. I don't know.
They can swim and they can move, man. They both can move.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid, like with the conda, they strangle you. It's over, man.
Yeah.
They get a hold of you. It's
At least
done.
like if they take your leg, you can maybe just swim away and like while he's eating the leg, you can just bounce.
Yeah, like their objective is to grab you tight and until you tap out.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy that snakes are so like they're crazy. They're so vulnerable if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like they just have this giant body and their only thing is their head, and like they just crush it on this earth.
Yeah,
Like people just don't want to f with them
unless
you're like a mongoose.
I'm not a snake person, man.
Yeah.
Not a snake person.
I love listening to nature. Like when it comes to documentaries, I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I do, it's like Our Planet or like all these like crazy David Attenborough stuff. When you're just sitting there like, damn, this shit is crazy. Earth has created some crazy creatures, man.
Yeah,
There is, and then once you get these cameras that are zooming in on these insects and shit, it's crazy what happens when you put a microscope on like a fly.
Yeah.
It is the most outrageous thing ever. And I think that we're going to see so much more just imagery that's going to come out of like the world because we have these super mega cameras right now. The iPhone 25 is going to be like, check out.
These things are shooting in what 4K is it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just going down.
They catch all your imperfections. Like we got one of those cameras at the Heat. I'm like, man, don't get too close, bro. You.
Looking at Miami, you've seen the big change and the big boom with COVID and everything. What has kind of been your thought process on it in terms of, do you think it's good for Miami or like, how do you see the change?
Good in the sense that, well, I would have to explain this in a couple different. It sucks that COVID has brought a lot of people down to Miami and they're buying up everything. And the housing market is insane right now.
Insane.
Because you have people from East and West Coast that don't mind paying $2,600 for a 1-bedroom, like because where they lived in New York and that was double the price, or they lived in Cali and that was double the price. So it sucks that you see some of the stories that people are kind of being forced to move because they can't afford it, but. It's also good in the sense that we're even though COVID still exists, we're kind of getting back to normal, some type of normalcy. I felt that this year, like when we started the basketball season, because we started even before that, with college football that I do, we opened up and it was just okay. Fans are allowed, and same thing with basketball. Fans are allowed, you can wear a mask or not, whatever it is, but. So it's good to get back to some type of normal behavior. COVID was rough, man. Like when I talk,
you're saying that you have to get tested every day for some of this.
Yeah,
stuff.
and I don't mind that. That stuff is, I don't mind getting tested every day. But because I'd rather have it that way than to not have it at all, right? Sure. Because I remember, when it hit. We had a game that I think it was a Saturday, or no, I'm sorry. It was a Wednesday when we got the news because we were literally in the game, and one of the players came down with it, the guy from Utah, Rudy Gobert, and the league sent out an email saying, it was going to be suspended until further notice. They didn't know what was going on because this was early on. This was like the first, week or so. So no one had any idea what's going on. And that turned into not really having a season because they went up and did the bubble and stuff like that. But, they gave me some time to reflect, but it took a toll on me mentally because you go from having this controlled chaos that we speak of to it just being stripped away. So it's like, what do I do with all my time? Okay, great. Spend more time with my daughter. Awesome. Started reading books. I read 18 and a half books. That's great. That's cool. But I still need that feeling I get from being able to perform and to, interact and engage with people.
Yeah.
And that took a toll on me, man. That had me in sometimes a dark spot because it had me reevaluating do I still want to do this? Will I be able to get out of this? Financially, that was great because I saved like an old person. Okay? I may have a sneaker habit and this, but I literally save like I'm old and this might be it, right? So financially, that was great. Still drove the same car, still live in the same house, still pay my bills, everything was fine. But mentally, my gosh, man, I was all over the place because it's like
your life gets flipped up.
Yeah, it's like you really get shook completely up, and it's like, and then I started second guessing myself, like
you're not getting that validation from the fans, from the people, seeing the faces.
Yeah, and that's what's most important.
You're not on the court. You're not on the court.
Yeah, like being able to make someone have a good time is important to me. Like I like that. I'm a people's person.
Yeah.
I want them to have a good time. And then it's like, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to come back from this. And if so, do I even want to still do this anymore? I've had a phenomenal run.
You're having those thoughts.
Yes.
That is
but
dark.
This is super dark.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was in a place where, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue, man. But then, you get little glimmers of hope and, okay, here's a gig. Okay, but you got to wear your mask and get tested, but here's a gig. All right, great. Here's another gig. All right, great. Cool. All right, so we're starting the year after the bubble, not even the year after, because the bubble ended in October. The bubble was where they all went to Orlando, and they all had to stay within this confined space. So no outside guests, no fans, no nothing. That's what they finished out for the remaining of the season in the bubble. So that ended in, let's say, October. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That ended in November, possibly. And we had our first game of the new season in December. Quick turnaround. Now, the glimmer of hope was, okay, well, great. There's no fans, but we still want you in the arena DJing. So game one of us, we're playing. This was the day after Christmas. Big game. It was on ESPN. It's just me and the mascot and the players. That's all it was. So that's the glimmer of hope. Okay, well, cool. Did the whole season like that until they started, adding a little. Okay.
Is it weird being like the hype guy with no audience?
Super weird. With built-in crowd noise, no audience, and I'm legit on the microphone. Like there's 20,000 fans going ham. Like there's 20,000 fans.
It must have been funny to see.
It was interesting.
You
but
had to laugh at yourself.
No, but because I'm a professional, but it's an on and off switch.
That's
literally
awesome.
an on and off switch. No, so I just felt like I was talking to 20,000 people.
That's amazing.
Even though I was talking to the 5 players on the court, the 10 on the bench, and the mascot next to me.
You're a professional.
Yeah, and it was, and did that for, so they started letting fans in, and then it was like, okay, well, I'd rather be doing this than not doing it at all. So, there's a blessing in that, by being able to kind of still be working.
I was just always so curious, like being someone in that world and then going through the craziest thing that no one ever suspected. You can't prepare for a pandemic, y'all.
No. No, I think, in our field, we're entertainers, right? So the one thing that we had going for us was just stripped away. And it was like, okay, so what do you do now? And and I tell people, and I'm open with them, and that's why mental health is so important. Because I was like,
whenever people actually get down with it, like we had Aubrey on recently, that girl works with Ala Yoga, just a tremendous human being and personality. She just got on the show and was just boom, hit it from like the beginning about depression and everything that's going on, and she's so vulnerable and open, and because of that, it made me vulnerable and open, and I was just like, ooh, I feel real, like she just opened something up. People that can be themselves like that, that is such a gift, and that's what I get. I feel that around you, like you have that ability.
I'm pretty much an open book, and I like to speak on it because it's so, like, people look at it as like, people misinterpret it, you know, and think that, oh, you know, mental health, you may be crazy or something like that. No, not even close. It's just, you know, I'm emotional. I love what I do, and not being able to do that, it really put a damper on me. Like it really had me in a uncomfortable place, and that could be, you know, the drive and determination and the passion for what I do, and just the pure love for what I do and being around people. And not being able to do that, like everybody else, everybody else went to work. They still, okay, you good. You get to work from home, great. What do you do? Work from home, great. No, I didn't work from home. There was no working from home. There was no work. Yeah. So I'm gonna be like in this, you know, I'm gonna be all over the place. You know, can't go here, can't go get a haircut. I'm looking like, you know, Tom Hanks and Castaway. I'm looking crazy and.
Wilson.
Yeah, you know, but you know, we made it out, and thankfully, you know, things are better. But
I mean, the biggest thing that happened from that entire experience, though, is it made people realize, like, look, number one, you can work from home. A lot of these businesses were just not allowing that in the past, and you can literally build a career working from home.
Absolutely.
You don't need to go leave your house. You can go learn any career, any business. No. If you just do the research and you get started.
Right.
So that's a big W from the pandemic. You know, if it will open up a lot of flawed systems.
Man, if you were like an attorney, and you know, you had your secretaries coming to the office, you know, for 15 years, and the pandemic hit, and now you realize your secretaries can work from home, and I'd work from home. I'd take that over every day.
It was the world's best time to get a puppy at that time.
Yeah. Or to learn a new trade, you know, learn a new craft, do something.
So if you could go back, and I ask everyone this because it's a really deep question. I'm so curious to hear what you'd say. But if you could go back in time, back to when, you know, you were emceeing these proms, and you could have told yourself, you know, 1, 2, or 3 things that could have saved you a ton of time, maybe money, heartache, headache, tears, and just overall learning process. And obviously a great answer is, you know, I wouldn't have told myself anything because it made me who I am today, or I would have invested in crypto, right? But like, what are some of those things that you would have told a young version of you if you could? Mini M dot, MM dot, double M dot.
Stay the course. Be patient. I think we search for instant gratification, right? And that's pretty much been, not just in today's society. That's pretty much how it's always been. We want something, we want it now, right? I think, you know, if I could tell myself, just stay the course, believe in yourself. It's going to happen. Just be patient. Another thing would be just stop and smell the roses. Like, sit back, and you don't have to like boast in your own glory or anything like that, but just sit back and realize that you've done some cool shit, and just accept it. I have a problem accepting like love. I can give it out. I have a problem. Like, so when people like,
you don't like getting gifts almost, like, or if you get a gift, it's almost like weird to you.
Yeah, it feels, but I love giving. I love giving gifts, and I love giving compliments and stuff. It's kind of weird when I receive them. I'm kind of weird like that. I have to go to therapy and figure that part out. This is real, no joke. But it's like, yeah, like let's say I did a gig in the shed back here, and it was a great gig, and one of your friends was like, came up to me, hey man, you kicked ass, that was great, and I'd just be like, thanks man, appreciate it man, like, oh, it could have been better, because I'm starting to think of like, oh well, maybe I could have mixed that song with this song and did this with that and this and that. So instead of just receiving that love,
like instead of filling your tank,
yeah, I'm like kind of like deflecting it a little bit. And yeah, so I need to, if I can go back and tell myself, just take it all in, man. Take it all in.
It's important, man. You got to fill the tank, right? It's like you gotta be appreciative of how far you've come.
Yeah. Because
you never know what tomorrow's gonna bring.
I think most importantly, like, forget the success. Just like take pride and be present in the journey in which took you to get to where you are. Because like for me, like going down the list of everything I've done, it could look like it was overnight. Literally could look like it was overnight. But there were years. It was, it was a process. Luckily I had people that, were able to guide me in the right direction and kind of put me in positions to win. And it was just on myself not to screw it up. Like to just be myself and do what I gotta do, and don't screw it up,
but
bro.
You give a lot of credit to other people. Like, you're saying like, you met these incredible people that put yourself in these positions, but it seems like you just appreciate and recognize when good things happen. And and that seems to be a good big trait of your success. Yeah.
It can't just like, a lot of people are me. And I will never be that person, because without meeting this person, then I wouldn't have this job. And without meeting this person, I wouldn't have had this job or this opportunity. So there's always a lot of people to thank for that. And again, like I've been put in some really great positions to win, and it was just ultimately up to me to not screw it up, to just go and do what I got to do, and you're going to be perfectly fine. Just don't screw it up. And that's just, I've kind of.
Man, I can't think of a better way to end the podcast with that. I mean, Michael, you're just a fascinating human.
Appreciate
you're so kind,
man.
You came over here. You gave your time to us. You could be doing a million other things, but instead you got to talk about crocodiles and alligators.
Yeah, man. That's a first.
World and
never
making things happen. So I appreciate it. I know Sky appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
You're welcome here anytime. Open door policy.
For sure.
And we appreciate you. And this is the Damn Good Day Show.
Yeah, it's a damn good day.
It is a damn good day to have a damn good day.